Morning, everybody. Just been sitting here on the drive to work, getting a little emotional this morning. So, control the things that you can control. There are many things that are out of our control. Certainly, I believe that God is ultimately in control of all things and works all things together for the good of those who love Him. But there's an element in which, too, even in that worldview, and that philosophy, and that theology, where man still has choices, because we don't know the mind of God. We do not know the mind of God. And He is known for taking our crappiest choices and using them to change us and to make us better and to make the world better. But control what you can control. I really think part of the reason I've begun this journey of losing weight and building towards this tryout in March, it's anytime you make a change in your life, there's multiple factors. It's not just one thing that happens. At least for me, I think for everybody, there's a building up, a layering, layered consequences, or escalating consequences, or sometimes it's rock bottom people need to hit. I didn't hit rock bottom. I didn't have a heart attack. I didn't have. I had some health issues related to weight, but I didn't have anything catastrophic. And those health issues really weren't any part of the reason. The major health issues that I had related to my weight were not any part of the reason why I quit eating like a moron. But there's a layered or progressive development of change, usually. I think one of the factors for me that really drove me here was I was definitely tired of being obese the way I was. I'm still obese, medically speaking. But what drove me, I think, was that. I felt like so much of my life, especially in some relationships, was completely out of my control, especially in one very specific relationship and very important relationship. I felt like culturally a lot of the things going on were completely out of my control, things that I care deeply about, and I think one of the factors that drove me to this was to control what I could control and be the best I could be where I was. To not cry and whine and complain about what I did not like. I still do some of that, but to shift my focus to something that I have complete control over. I have complete control over what I put in my face for food. I have complete control over whether I get up and walk, or go out and march, or pick up a stick. I have complete control over that. I had reconnected with marching band, and I'm thankful, so thankful for that. After many years, after over a decade of not being connected because of kids and things, and it's fine, but I had been blessed to reconnect with that art form and my love of teaching it and being involved in it. it meant a lot to me in high school and college, and then even after. And it means a lot to me now. So, it was the positive thing. It was the positive thing. It was a positive thing that connected me with something to grab onto that I could control. Again, there's layers to decisions we make. We don't make decisions. We think sometimes we make decisions in kind of a vacuum, or, the light bulb goes on and it's like, well, that's what changed. And yes, but there were other things too. I mean, even a factor of me looking for a new football team, because I was tired of being a Washington football fan after decades, about 40 years of being a Redskins fan. And wanting to reconnect with sports, because again, I don't want to be emotionally driven by them or controlled, but I enjoy them. I enjoy them. I enjoy watching them. I enjoy following sports. I was a diehard Redskins fan, and frankly, that was an abusive relationship. So I needed to leave. It's not me, it's you. I needed to leave. So I left. And part of the reason that I left, or part of the factor that triggered my desire to change, was saying, why don't I be a Ravens fan? Oh yeah, they have a marching band. And that's what I've always loved. One of the things I always loved about the Redskins was they had that marching band. And they still do. I don't think they've gone anywhere. But it made logical sense to switch and be a Ravens fan. And I know some people be like, well, you shouldn't change your team. Whatever. Be loyal. No, I don't want to be loyal. If I'm in a relationship, and I use the term loosely, right? If I'm engaged in an activity that is abusive, that is not helping me feel good, that is clearly the other party is completely inept, and I'm expected to give them hundreds of dollars a year in whatever, merchandise or tickets or whatever, or even just hours of my life, more importantly, no, I'm not going to stay in a relationship with a team or follow a team, to use more real language, follow a team that is just terrible and does not, the way in which they handled that name change was abysmal. I mean, it's just the penultimate sign of how horribly dysfunctional that organization is. And until they changed ownership, they're not winning anything. But I digress on that, because that's not a major part of why I changed. It's a small part. And then I thought to myself, I can try out for the Ravens, marching Ravens. I've always wanted to be a Redskins marching band member. I wasn't driven by it. I wasn't like I am now, kind of driven. And even now, I'm not driven to be a marching Ravens band member. But I'm driven to the tryout, right? I'm driven to develop the skills to be able to try out, right? Because when this clicked off in my brain in April, on around April 6th or 7th, I actually was going to try out that year in the state that I was in, at 313 pounds and having been on the couch for 2 years. And I missed the tryouts, thankfully, because I would have embarrassed myself. It would have been a mess, because I did not have any concept of what the skill set was they needed. So anyway, I did figure out, though, that I need to get in shape. Like, I knew enough to know that if I have any chance of being a member of that group again, because I was a member 27 years ago or whatever, before the Ravens even existed. I needed to get in shape. I needed to improve my playing, and I needed to get in shape. I needed to lose weight, at the very least, lose weight. Control what you can control. I felt like much of my life was out of control, or not much, a significant, important part of my life, or a couple parts of my life were out of my control. And I do think that our system of corporate media, capitalistic media, not that I think state-controlled media is any better. It's probably just as bad. Like, it's not, I think there's incentives in the media to get us feeling helpless, feeling powerless, feeling like we need a savior, when the only savior we need is Christ, and we need to fight for what we can and control what we can, but we by no means need a savior. We need an advocate. That's a much healthier word. We don't need a savior. And so, control what you can control. If you are struggling with relationships, control your reactions to the people in your life. You have power over that. You don't have to react the way you always did, if that way was unhealthy and unhelpful or abusive. No one controls you. The God of the universe has you in his hand and orchestrates things to be, but you have tremendous freedom within the kingdom and within the world. And even if you don't believe in what I believe in, you have tremendous freedom. The end, if you're a determinist, the end may be determined, but the story is not completely written. The story is a tapestry woven along the way, guided by the hands of our Creator. But control what you can control. If you are tired of being overweight, start making small decisions. Don't eat pick something and don't eat it anymore. Get up and walk more. 30 minutes a day. I watched a video several months ago where they said, look, if you can't walk 30 minutes, walk 5 minutes 6 times. Exactly right. It doesn't matter whether you're walking 1 minute 30 times, or 5 minutes 6 times, or 10 minutes 3 times, or 30 minutes at a time. It does not matter. To your body, it doesn't matter if it's extra walking. If it's above and beyond the normal steps you take in a day, your body will recognize that is drawing on its stores of energy and will act accordingly. And you'll lose weight. Now, you need to cut some calories too, because it's the nature of it. I was never going to lose the weight I lost if I continued to eat 1,000 calories a day for breakfast. I was never going to lose. If I'd have walked an hour a day and kept eating 1,000 calories, I might have lost 5. I lost some weight when I worked, so I might have lost a pound a month, right? Because I lost a little weight when I worked at Target over the holidays last year. And I was eating the same I am now, or the same I was before the weight loss. So I was losing a little weight. So you'll lose a little weight. But if you really want to feel better, change your diet. Small changes. I've been noticing lately that I'm a little more... I think I would benefit from some carbs, especially now that marching band is back in full swing. So I've not been so OCD about... Not that I was doing keto or anything, but I was really cutting my carbs. So, like today I have a sub. I went and got a sub. Because I'm like, well, it's a roll. For breakfast I had eggs, protein, and my coffee. And for dinner, I don't know what I'm going to have. I'll have to figure it out. But probably protein. I'll probably stop and get some chicken, and I have a salad getting home that I was going to... Anyway, control what you can control. That's it. If you need help, reach out. I'll do my best to look at my comments if I ever get any. Control what you can control. Small changes. It doesn't have to be... You don't have to do couch to 5K. You don't have to get out and run a mile to exercise. You don't have to cut your calories in half like I did, most likely. I easily cut my calories in half. You don't have to do that to improve. It'll just be slow. It'll be slow. And that's okay. Slow progress over 3 years is good. Then fast progress is good. And in a lot of ways, better. So, have a blessed day. Peace, love, and understanding.